Now, New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He's a member of the House Judiciary and Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Congressman, good morning to you. And to be clear that these emails came from the National Archives. 200 of them were redacted because of who knows what. But of the 800 others, there were conversations where his company had absolute access to the vice president's office, including employees of the company, not just Hunter Biden.
Well, you know what? This is an example of, again, this president, when he was vice president, not being able to tell the truth. And here's the bottom line. I mean, for Joe Biden, whether it's pretending that he had a huge house fire and comparing that to what happened in Maui, or whether it is what we're finding out when the National Archives released over 800 emails, that there was constant communication between the office of vice president, at that time Joe Biden, and this law firm. And yet he has literally lied and said he didn't know anything about his son, his businesses, his law firm, anything that he's doing, and that nothing was inappropriate. We know damn well it was inappropriate. We also know that, this isn't the only example. We know that at least 20 times he was on phone calls, literally with his son, and discussed business issues, and he won't be willing to come forward until we press more and harder. And that's why we're pushing so hard in the Judiciary Committee, because we want the truth. Thank God we have a Republican majority, because if we didn't in the House of Representatives, none of this information, none of it would be known. And by the way, why is it that over 200 other emails, at least, have not been released, that they're using executive privilege to ensure that we don't know what is going on with those other 200 emails? I'll tell you why, because there's something wrong, there's something crooked. We need an impeachment inquiry. And when you use executive privilege, it should be because you're worried about national security or have some serious reason. If you didn't do anything wrong, Joe Biden, make sure that it's all released. We want to hear the real story. And I don't think it's going to be a pretty story. I've been saying for a good amount of time now, we are ready, we're long past ready for an impeachment inquiry. It's time to find out what's really going on. And the impeachment inquiry gives you more investigatory powers, and the impeachment inquiry gives you even stronger subpoena powers that you have to get the answers much more quickly. It's time. Let's do it.
Well, Congressman, you are going to be heading back to work very soon. So we also want to ask you about this, because the White House is pushing for a short-term CR bill to keep the government funded past September 30th. Some are in favor of passing the bill. Others say a threat of a shutdown may curb runaway spending. So Maria asked Utah Congressman Burgess Owens and South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman about this and how this could all happen alongside the impeachment inquiry that you and I are talking about. Listen to this.
What are you going to do in terms of voting for this continuing resolution, Congressman Owens?
I will be voting for the continuing resolution. We want to make sure, first of all, we can continue to run our business. At the same time, we do have a lot on our plate. It's going to be, I think, almost impossible for us to do it all within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Where do we stand on a shutdown? Are you expecting that as well as an impeachment inquiry?
You can do both. It's like walking and chewing gum. We're going to use the power of the purse. And if the threat of the shutdown, which they're using, look what's happened in the past. The government shut the American businesses down and schools. If we don't get conservative spending under control, to shut it down, which we will do if we have to do that.
Congressman, your thoughts on this as well?
Look, nobody wants to have a shutdown. I mean, we don't want to have to go through that. However, what we really don't want as well is a situation where people are forced to vote for legislation dealing with the budget that includes things, just for example, like drag queen ambassadors, that includes things like social equity with transgender studies. We are wasting money. Even in the military, we stripped this all out on the National Defense Authorization Act, and it has to be stripped out of these bills because it doesn't belong there. It is trying to push Democrats' social agenda to change the very social fabric, to change this country in ways from which we'll never recover. So, I'll do anything and work hard with anybody, but the bottom line is that I will not I will not vote for that stuff. It's
Okay.
time to stop it.
Okay.
It's time to have a backbone.
So you're in the camp that says, let's push this to the end. I do want to ask you about what's happening here in close to your district anyway. President Biden is offering up 11 sites for New York City to send illegal migrants to. Mayor Eric Adams is now saying, well, we're out of room. One of those locations is the Atlantic City Airport, Congressman. That actually is in your district. So this district is not going to affect your district. What are you going to say to the administration about this?
Well, first of all, just in general, we all knew all along, we should have known if we didn't. I've been saying for a good amount of time, for years now, that this immigration problem, it's not just a Texas problem or an Arizona problem or a California problem. This is a United States of America problem, self-created. This is what this president wanted to do. Eric Adams believes in sanctuary cities. We don't. We don't believe in a sanctuary airport. These people shouldn't even be sent back to New York. They should be sent back to from where they came. They shouldn't be here to begin with. And the worst part of it is they're bringing a lot of bad with them. Not each and every person is, but we have a legal rule of law. You have to go through immigration in a normal process, and we're not following that at all.
Well, they want to fast track it. They want to
stuff.
fast track it now and get them work permits. And I don't know, maybe then they can actually vote. Just a thought there. I want to bring in Joe Borelli. He's on set with me today. You two know each other. Joe, go ahead.
Okay.
Congressman, I actually want to ask you a little bit about your past life as a Democrat as it relates to this problem. You've been, years ago, in conference with a lot of these people in closed-door meetings with Democrats in the legislature and Congress. What do you think the off-ramp is that they can come to some sort of consensus? They have to see that the train's running off the tracks right now. Where do you think, knowing some of these people, they would find the off-ramp for this crisis?
Well, it's a strange business. It's one of the reasons that I left. I just couldn't take it anymore. They don't allow a lot of different ideas and thoughts. Supposedly they always want diversity. Well, they sure don't want diversity of thought. You're basically told what to do. Everybody's in lockstep, and it's a lot of times bad stuff. I mean, these are bad people, corrupt people that are doing bad things. Individually, you may talk to a congressman or a congresswoman on the other side of the aisle that seems to make sense, but when they get together in their caucus, it is like a mob scene. They just don't care, and their priorities are really not the vast majority of Americans' priorities. I don't care if you're just a working person that's a Democrat, Republican, or independent. Just regular folks don't like what they want to do to our country. It is why I was left. I left when I was told that I had to obey or else I'd be in big trouble.
Oh,
and
well.
You know what? I am from New Jersey.
Okay.
You don't talk to me that way.
Well, Joe's from Staten Island. I think you two have that in common as well. Congressman Jeff Van Drew, it's good to see you, Congressman. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right.